Recording in progress.
Jamie, you're 22.
Jamie, we're live.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. The time is now 8:34, and we're calling to order the meeting of the Louisiana State Board of Social Work Examiners. We're going to get started with a roll call.
Roll call, Hyacinth McKee, Jamie Barney,
Present.
Trinity George,
Present.
Melissa Haley,
Present.
Evan Bergeron, Boris Ansari, present.
Thank you. Also, can you please, Trinity, read the information regarding public comment?
A public comment period will be permitted for each agenda item requiring a public vote. Members of the public who wish to provide public comments may use the raised hand function to be recognized by the chair.
Excuse me, I am so sorry. I think we have members of the public here.
Okay. We're gonna pause for a second to let in some members of the public who may be present. Let me start. I'll let you know. Do you have anyone else coming in? Emily?
I didn't see anybody.
Okay, okay. So, sorry for the attendees. We have already completed the roll call. I also would like to acknowledge that the board administrator, Emily D'Angelo, and the board's attorney, Sherry Morris are also present. So can you please go forward with the information on public comments, Trinity?
Yes. A public comment period will be permitted for each agenda item requiring a vote. Members of the public who wish to provide public comments may use this raised hand function to be recognized by the chair. Any person may provide public comment only once per agenda item. Public comments are limited to 2 minutes per speaker. Public comments are limited to the item being considered by the committee. The chair may disregard or terminate any public comment that does not comply with this paragraph. Attendees of the public portion of the meeting can obtain a maximum of 1 hour of continuing education in ethics and 1 hour of general continuing education. An email regarding continuing education credit will be sent within 30 days following the meeting.
Thank you very much, Trinity. So we're going to go forward with the public comment period. So we're going to start with any members who are present who would like to give a public comment. Then we'll go to those members virtually, and then we'll do any written submission of public comment. So does any member of the public that is present would like to give a public comment? Okay, thank you. Do we have any virtual attendees who would like to give a public comment? Again, please use the raise hand function if you would like to give a public comment. So we have a hand raised.
Deandra Jacks.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, it is. Hey, how y'all doing? Just checking in. This is my first time attending a meeting, and I just wanted to make sure I was doing everything the right way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does my camera have to be on?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry for the disruption.
No problem.
Okay.
Do we have any other hands raised? Okay.
LaShonda Ellis.
You're acknowledged.
Good morning. This is also my first time attending. My name is LaShonda Ellis, and I just wanted to let you know I was trying to get off mute earlier, but I didn't know how to work this phone. but I'm here.
you. So, members of the public, those of you who may be new attending, welcome. You do not have to do anything in the chat or, verbally to acknowledge your attendance. It is, recorded with the software that we use for the meeting. So we only need persons' hands raised who would like to make a public comment regarding this meeting.
Ron, please.
Okay, you are recognized.
Good morning, y'all. I was just getting on the Zoom meeting to see my CSW go through for today, but I'm looking at the agenda and I don't see my name on here. I was just wondering if that would still be recognized for today, or I'm not sure. I didn't even know y'all had an agenda posted the day before for the meeting.
Also, an application list posted in the same section of the board's website. You can review
Okay.
that. And if you have any issues, please call the licensing board office.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. You have any other hands raised? No, okay. Any other members, any other public comments for any members present? Okay, so we received correspondence on July 26th at 3:28 PM via email for public comment, and I'm going to read that now. So this is from Gina Rossi. Please accept this email as a public comment correspondence for the August 2nd, 2024 Louisiana State Board of Social Work Examiners meeting to LABSW. I would like to express my extreme disappointment for the board's recent decision to continue to erect barriers for social workers who are working towards their LCSW to be able to participate in telesupervision as intended by the recent law change. For the last several years, the board has attempted to deflect ownership of the problem of not being allowed to have telesupervision without board approval, as it had been allowed during the COVID emergency. The board consistently threw up their hands and claimed, we can't allow it anymore because the law did not allow it. We have no choice. Now, through the united efforts of NASW and social workers throughout the state who wrote their legislatures, there is finally a law established. Much time and effort was expended to achieve this. It is unsettling, to say the least, that instead of being able to collaborate so this law can move forward, finally, the board has gone to greater lengths to actually hold back this demonstrated product of research, advocacy, and education of lawmakers. This is an example of advocacy and social workers making change happen. A tremendous achievement that the board wants to make sure is not allowed to move forward. The board knows full and well how long it takes to rewrite the rules. The board knows full and well this can and has taken years. The board also knows full and well the intention of this law. It should be noted that the board has not responded to NASW's most recent request to schedule a meeting about the law change. If the board does not explain the reason for not moving forward in scheduling a meeting without professional association, if the board does not explain a reason for not moving forward and scheduling a meeting. I'm gonna finish. Thank you. With our professional association's executive director to the social work community, then a community can only speculate that the board is delaying this message to ignore the intention of the law that is scheduled to begin August 1st, 2024. This disregard for important communication about the law that is scheduled in 1 week is one more delay. This delay works against the best interest of social work of the public. Board members who do not agree with the ethics of these current actions should resign from working under these actions. An LABSWE chair that does not work with our professional association or work for progress to improve access for supervision, despite everything we now know, should resign immediately instead of wasting the time and efforts of the board to effectively dig in their heels to prove a point. Instead of appreciating the efforts made that create access and progress, and working towards implementation. The amount of precious energy and time used, abused, and blocking progress has been shameful. Gina Rossi, LCSW Backs. So we also have a response to that from Dr. McKee, who's the chair of the board. Greetings, LABSWE, LABSWE staff, and our public. Please accept this email as a response to the public comments submitted by Gina Rossi, LCSW Backs, for the August 2nd LABSWE board meeting. The board is and will continue to move forward with all actions necessary to implement Act 467, 2024. It is with gratitude to serve on a licensing board which values the input of professional associations, licensees, and who has taken the initiative to enable public access and input. Information pertaining to the work of LABSWE related to Act number 467 is located in the spring/summer 2024 newsletter, which was sent electronically to all licensees via Constant Contact, posted on the LABSWE website and Facebook page in July 2024. While I am committed to working with all social work associations and licensees, as a licensed social worker, I must also abide by the laws and rules governing our profession. And as board chair, I must abide by the laws and rules applicable to public agencies. I have forwarded the public comments pertaining to telesupervision and rules promulgation to legal counsel and requested that she address the process for implementing laws at the August 2024 board meeting and a status of other pending rules. In community and solidarity, Dr. Hyacinth McKee, LCSW Backs, Chair, LABSWE. Okay, so that is going to close the public comment period. We're now going to move forward with approval of matters listed on the agenda. And then also, it is next that we will be getting an update on the rules promulgation from legal counsel, as Dr. McKee noted in her response. So, for the approval of matters listed on the agenda, do we have any proposed changes?
We do have some proposed changes. After posting the agenda, we received a request from Sandra DeHart to move her correspondence from executive session to open session. And we received a request from Piper Dixon to be added to correspondence. And Shelby Oxner has requested her compliance hearing be moved to September.
Okay. So with the requests noted, we would move Sandra DeHart from 5B6 to 4Q. We would add Piper Dixon as under correspondence to 4R. And then we would remove item 5A6, Shelby Oxner, to the September agenda. Any other requests?
Say the one, before Shelby Oxford, who was it?
Piper Dixon,
And
we would add to 4,
where was she at again?
she wasn't on the agenda, she's being added to 4R. R is in red.
So just for the record, I will have to leave today at 4 p.m. I have a flight to catch.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it may require adjustment.
After that.
Yeah, if it may require an adjustment. So I don't know. I'm just asking because I'm not really sure, but I know I have to leave at 4.
Okay, so we will go forward. We reviewed the agenda. I think that this is doable. So I don't currently see any concerns, but we'll adjust at the lunch period if necessary, or before we go into executive session. Okay, any other questions, or do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the agenda with the recommended changes.
Motion by Melissa,
Second.
second by Trinity. Any public comments related to this agenda? No public comments. Do we have any objections or abstentions? Motion carried. Okay, so next on the agenda, board staff matters, the update on rules promulgation.
Okay, good morning. The rules promulgation, we have several sets of rules that we're working on, so I'm gonna handle each one separately. The first set of rules was the set of rules that was submitted to Occupational Licensing Review Committee in January. The Occupational Licensing Review Committee has now been appointed and they are beginning to meet. They held their first meeting July 31st. However, our rules were not included. Yeah, July 31st, which was Wednesday. Our rules were not included because the committee indicated that they needed further review. They also informed us that there were some rules which we knew did not need a review of the Occupational Licensing Review Committee, and those would be things relative to meetings. The Occupational Licensing Review Committee reviews specific requirements and parameters for licensing and practice. And we did have some things that were procedural in nature in our rules, but we were trying to just keep them as one set since it was so comprehensive. We have now decided, because of the delay, to go forward and publish the rules, which the Occupational Licensing Committee has indicated that they're not going to review. And we did have to get some information this week, and we were able to confirm that we would not have to get another fiscal note to be able to go forward and publish the rules not subject to occupational licensing review. So we are in the process of, and we will submit next week to the register anything that is not affecting the practice or holding a license. So we did have some things about public comments, about accommodations to persons with disabilities. And so those will be submitted next week. And then we'll be able to publish those and have a public hearing. We're hoping that we'll be on the next Occupational Licensing Review Committee agenda. However, they have not given us the date yet. So if they go back to a monthly meeting schedule, hopefully we'll be on there next month. Everything has been submitted that's been requested or required. So those are there hopefully for the next agenda. The next set of rules.
You wanna wait till you finish till you have questions? Or
Oh, yeah. Does anybody have any questions on that?
yes, so with we've submitted the set, they chose not to review our rules, they want further review. Do they have a time frame within which they have to review?
No, and this is, a situation that has never occurred before. This is really unprecedented. The Occupational Licensing Review Committee is somewhat new. But they had been meeting on a regular schedule. And then with the change of administration, the members weren't appointed until just recently, which after the session. And they just hold their first meeting, and our rules just kind of wound up in that time space. But not only our board, there are other boards that have similar delays to their rules. So this is something that's really never happened before, but we're moving forward. We have everything submitted. We submitted it as a package, and their preference was for us to take out the rules that they don't have to review. So we had two options: to take them out from the review request and then hold them and publish them both together. But there's really no reason to hold those other rules. They've been held for so long.
Right.
So we can get them in by the deadlines for the next publication, and that's what we intend to do.
Okay, and so those other rules that are just kind of.
They're delayed, but we're hopeful that maybe before the next board meeting, we might get a hearing on this. So they met on the 31st of the month. We don't know what their next meeting date is yet. They were trying to get that squared away. Emily's on the notice list. I'm on the notice list. So as soon as we get something, we will let everybody know.
What's the time frame for that to happen? Did they?
Don't know. And I sent a request like, what is your next meeting date? And they said they didn't have the next meeting date yet. So hopefully they will, meet on a monthly schedule. They met in July. They haven't met in August, and hopefully they will. And if they do, everything is ready for them to review. But they said they needed more time because we had so many rules.
Typically in the past, what have you seen
Well, it's a newer board.
Oh, it's a new
It's-
board.
It has never happened.
Okay.
He just appointed.
Or newest commission, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Right, it's a newer process, and it's also just with the change of administration, the governor chose not to appoint the members and have committee meetings while the session, till they got through the session, so.
Oh,
So
okay.
it sounds like all the members are new to this.
They're from it has somebody from the Attorney General's office, from somebody from the governor's office yet. I
They're
mean,
new
Okay.
serving,
So it's not somebody that was
but they're
reappointed.
not new to rule review,
Right.
some of
but
them.
to this committee.
Yes.
So there's a lot of
Oh,
kind of
okay.
onboarding and processing that they're probably working on.
Oh, okay.
The majority of them.
I thought it was somebody that you may have been familiar with and you knew.
I know several of the members. They've been in state government offices and in capacities where they've dealt with rules, so.
They're new as a group.
They're new as a
They're new to
group.
each other.
Yes.
Okay.
The
So for that
lawyers,
first set of,
the lawyers.
all right, so for the first set of rules, that was.
We're gonna split them.
Okay, and so then you said you have updates on other rules.
Okay, so then we have other rules that are in the process or are necessary as a result of legislation. And one of those is the telesupervision rule. So the telesupervision rule, there seems to be a lot of misinformation about it, but telesupervision rule very clearly says that telesupervision law, Act 865, clearly requires, it says the board shall establish rules and regulations regarding the specific requirements and parameters for telesupervision, including technology standards, documentation, and confidentiality measures. That process has already started, and it was, set forth in a notice that was on the board's website and also on the newsletter. It talked about it. So that's in process. That law became effective yesterday. And it was referred to me for legal sufficiency review, and then that will be addressed at the next meeting, and it will go through the process. Hopefully the delay that we have experienced with these other rules, we will not have such a delay. But we will just have to keep you posted on that. But there has been a lot of work done by the committee and the board to get even ahead of the effective date of the law. But now that the law is effective, the board has the authority to promulgate the rules. Really, the rules you're promulgating, the law became effective yesterday. So that is in process. So we'll have actually 3 different sets of rules that we'll be working on through the fall.
So when you're, as it pertains to telesupervision, because we just heard a very long response to what the board is not doing. What can the board do with the law just passed as it pertains to allowing all persons requesting telesupervision to be able to get telesupervision? Is that a possibility for the board?
No, the board has to go through the rulemaking process because the legislature said so.
Okay,
It's very clear, and I've looked at it, it says the board shall establish rules and regulations. So the board is not a discretionary function, it is mandatory, but we still have on the books the rule that allows you to apply, like we have had for hardship cases or particular circumstances, and the board will continue to review the particular circumstances.
okay,
And so the board has come up with the rules regarding telesupervision, and that was submitted during the last month meeting to Sherry for review for legal sufficiency. And then we'll have something to look at next board meeting in September.
Yes.
And then we will go forward with this process.
As quickly as possible.
Yes,
As quickly
okay,
as possible.
Now we can't do it.
okay. So was that up?
So for the
Okay.
social workers, for the remote supervision rule is still on the books, and if you have a request, submit it. And it will go on the agenda like they've been handled in the interim.
Okay. So is that it for your update on rules promulgation?
I believe so, unless anybody has any other questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you very much, Sherry. Okay, now we'll go on to agenda item 2B, report on office workflow and staffing. There is a workflow report that is in your certificate accounts, members of the board. Emily, do you have anything to add to the report?
Read the report out loud if you would like me to. The only thing that is not included on the report is how many paper we've received and processed, and that is 7.
Okay, so, so I don't think you need to read it out loud, but it notes the number of requests and applications received for different licensure types. And the number of complaints received. I guess we can review the number of complaints since it's a smaller and, you know, has more of an impact to public. So there were 18 complaints received from June 14th to July 28th. And then 10, we requested a written response. 1 is under investigation, 1 is under consideration, and 6 were not accepted because they were not was not a violation. And the person that makes the complaint, they get something back in writing regarding the status of the initial response of the board for that complaint, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Emily? Okay, so we're gonna move on to agenda item 2C, 2025 NASW Louisiana Chapter Conference Call for Proposals. So there is an item in your certificate account. For the NASW Louisiana Call for Proposals is open. The conference theme is social work is social justice. And the deadline for submission of proposals is August 25th, 2024.
For the past few years, we have presented at the conference on the subject of ethics, and our complaint consultant, Lisa LABSWE, has developed that program. She is willing to continue to do that if the board would like her to. She would like that the board consider doing a 1.5-hour workshop rather than the 3-hour.
Okay. So for the past, I think I've gone for the past 3 years or so. There's been a 3-hour ethics that the board facilitated. And Lisa LABSWE, who so graciously has helped us every year developing that presentation, is willing to continue to assist, but she'd like us to do 1.5 hours if we do go forward. So any discussion? So at this current point, would we need to identify which board members would be willing to present?
I think, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
If it's a 1.5-hour workshop, you can have a maximum of 3 presenters.
Okay,
I don't think that that's necessary. I think what they would like would be to know that, yes, we're interested in presenting and this is our topic.
okay.
An application is not required for it in terms of you have to send a resume and the learning objectives and different things like when you're applying. Is that what has to happen?
Yes.
Okay, are you gonna do that? Or she's gonna do it?
You'll do it for
Okay.
us if we would like her to.
Okay.
I don't know the topic. What's the topic?
So any discussion?
Is it ethics, right?
It's historically, it has been ethics, yeah.
I think it's a very helpful workshop to provide. Do we need to vote on this or?
Well, I also think it would be great to include the function and the role of the board. You know, I know ethics is could definitely be a part of that, but you know, in terms of active engagement, what the board does, what the requirements are, things of that nature. I think that is an important aspect that all social workers should be aware of.
And I believe then if that's the case, we need to discuss rules. That should be a topic of discussion. I think continuing education should be discussed. And the supervision process. I think that really needs to be discussed, the role of the VBACs and the licensee. Since there have been many issues regarding Certami and the licensee and the VBACs, that role. Hopefully we will be in the new platform, but just that role, that discussion.
So there's a lot of time between now and the March timeframe. I'm not sure when they would like the slides presented. I know it's several weeks before, but we could potentially give Lisa some suggestions on things we would like included in the presentation. If we want to go forward.
Yeah, just to say as a BACS supervisor and that licensee, just to have that BACS supervisor be that role model, that teacher, guide them through that process.
Best practices.
Yeah, the best
I'm sorry,
practices.
Trinity, I don't mean, but whatever the topics are, I don't think we should necessarily delve into that here. I think we
I
could
thought that's
just,
what
No, we're just voting to say,
Yeah.
we
would like
We
to
would- we are- oh,
participate.
that's
but
what
I do think, you know, your ideas are valued, so you could draft in an email to Emily or write down to Emily and she could share with Lisa to
I'm
see.
happy to do that.
So is this something that requires a motion? No? Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I just, because it doesn't, I also think she should have latitude. Maybe if we're adding stuff, maybe a 3 hour would not be bad. Maybe her presentation may be an hour and a half, but it may not be bad. Because I do think from our perspective, as much best practices and things that we can communicate, but I don't think we should require it, but just have that opportunity if it is a longer session.
Okay. Okay. So we will go forward with responding to the call for proposals. Okay, so moving on to agenda item 3, minutes of the meeting held June 21st. So has the members of the board had an opportunity to review the minutes from our last meeting? And if so, can someone put forth a motion?
So move.
Second. So moved by Melissa, seconded by Trinity to approve the minutes. Okay. Any public comments related to the minutes for the June 21st, 2024 meeting? No public comments, any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. So now we'll go into agenda item 4, correspondence. We'll start with A, Broadmoor Improvement Association, application for continuing education approval organization reinstate. So this is going to be the correspondence file in the board's members' Certami accounts. So I give space for any discussion if necessary or review.
I didn't see anything wrong with this one, and it has the 3 letters of recommendation.
Have any concerns?
And you,
If there's no forward discussion, any,
I make a motion to approve Broadmoor Improvement Association reinstatement as a CE approval organization.
okay.
Second?
Motion by Trinity, second by Bora. Any public comments related to this application? No public comments. Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, agenda item B, we have application for CE approval organization reinstatement from Grambling State University.
Make a motion that we accept the application from Grambling State University.
Second?
Motion by Melissa, seconded by Bora. Any public comments related to Grambling State University application? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have an application for CE approval organization from Jill Murray, PhD, LCSW.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Melissa, second from Bora. Any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have a Project Fleur de Lis application for CE approval organization.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Trinity, a second by Melissa. Any public comments related to Project Fleur de Lis, Emily? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Agenda item 4E, SL Dillon Enterprises, application for CE approval organization.
Motion to approve.
And we have a motion to approve on the floor by Trinity,
Second.
second by Bora. Any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, next we have an application from Jennifer Burris requesting approval for telesupervision. This is 4F and page 40 of 93.
Motion to approve.
Motion to deny.
Okay, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay. So, Sherry, can we put two for motions at once like that? No, okay. So Trinity, we have to go through go through the process with the first motion that Melissa made to approve. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I have to read.
So that's
review
fine,
this.
yeah, take a few minutes more, take your time.
Check it out.
Yeah.
You gotta vote. Don't you have to vote?
No, as chair,
She's chair.
but just the three of y'all, unless there's 3 people can't tie, so.
Okay, we're voting, but can we discuss or is it?
Yes, there's a motion on the
So-
floor, but there's not a second, so you can.
This person's asking for approval for 1 hour of remote supervision. Because, they've done it as an emergency, and so we're discussing the approval regarding the 1 hour requested.
No, but it's because it's telesupervision.
Right.
Under your rule for remote supervision.
So it
Okay.
applies to the rule that's already on the books.
Okay.
That we have to follow the current rule.
Oh, okay.
So I second the motion to approve.
Okay, then that's fine. I was confused. with
Okay,
what-
motion from Melissa, seconded by Bora. Any public comments?
Jennifer Burris has her hand raised.
Okay, Jennifer Burris, you're recognized.
Hi, yes, good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So actually, I was asking for 2 hours of supervision, and I'm not sure if both of those went in. I filed that request, I think within a week of each other, because I did have to stay away from the agency. I could not present to my agency in person for up to 2 weeks because I continued to test positive. So I had COVID. I was not allowed to come into my agency in person, and I applied for 2 hours of telesupervision emergently with my supervisee. I'm not sure if both of those made it in, but I thought they did. I have correspondence from Regina regarding that.
So who,
Okay.
Keep scrolling. There should be
Yeah.
two
Brittany?
emails.
It's from, no, it's from Edmund Bristow.
Right, that's my supervisee.
Yeah, it's from Edmund Bristow.
Okay.
So,
She's asking for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two separate requests.
Yeah.
So we just approved as written. And I just zoned in on the 1 hour that's in the last paragraph, but it does say 2 hour blocks.
Mhm.
So can we just leave it as is, or do we need to
Yep.
clarify
Let's
it?
just clarify so that everybody's.
so I'd like to amend the motion to approve 2 hours of supervision, remote supervision.
A second.
Okay, so amendment, was made to the motion from 1 hour to 2 hours by Melissa, and Ms. Bora accepted that amendment, and so any public comments? No. Any objections or abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have G, Brittany Delafonte's request for telesupervision.
So they're asking. Gotta do math here.
For 28 hours of remote supervision.
Mhm.
She has 6.1 hours remaining. That's required by law. Her supervisor only does group supervision. So she's asking that she be able to do an additional 28 hours of group supervision. So she doesn't have to change supervisors.
So she would have 69 hours of group and 27 of individual. When you have to get permission to go above 48.
48.
Mhm.
And the law does approve up to 72 hours.
Yes, that's why I was just
Yeah.
looking for that.
So I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Bora to approve, seconded by Trinity. Any public comments related to this request? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we're on agenda item H with Courtney Zeller, LMSW request for telesupervision.
Really remote supervision, and that's something I guess I should have caught on that.
Hmm.
It's really, all of these requests are really remote supervision. That's something I should have caught on the draft agenda.
What is it? Hello, so.
And that's what I was
It is,
confused
but
about.
telesupervision is defined in our
Oh,
law
with
now,
just the phone.
and our rule is remote supervision that we're looking at.
And that's why I said what I said earlier and I said automatically and.
Okay, it's okay. So, but we all know what we approved. Okay, so we'll keep going here.
Going under the current rule.
So remote supervision request from Courtney Zeller. Page 48 to 93 to the board. Give you a few minutes to review.
discuss this?
There any
It's
discussions?
distance, it seems like the request is for distance, 40 hours that she, lives in Florida parishes, and that's what the request is.
Mhm.
I'm okay with approving this, so I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Board to approve, second by Melissa. Any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Agenda item 4I, request for supervision by Brittany Delaney. So this is for supervision hours.
Mhm.
Changed, she kept the same bags the entire time. She
Switched
changed
employers.
Employers, didn't know she had to submit a new contract. Lose 13 hours.
Motion to approve with the letter to the backs. This has happened several times with the same backs, and I recommend.
A second.
Okay. Motion to approve with the letter of education to the backs by Melissa and seconded by Bora. Any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have agenda item 4J, a request for supervision from Ashlyn Presina.
Oh, so this is a certificate issue and contracts were not completed.
It's a very detailed account.
Mhm.
Is there any discussion? Any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Trinity, seconded by Melissa. Any public comments on agenda item 4J? No public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have a request for supervision from Melinda Holmes, LMSW. This is on page 61.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Trinity, seconded by Melissa. Any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carried. Next, we have agenda item L, Lane Hoplin, LMSW request for supervision. Page 71.
Motion to approve.
Second.
So motion to approve by Trinity, seconded by Melissa. Any public comments? No public comments. Any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, motion carried. We're on agenda item 4M, Nina Quinn, LMSW, request for supervision. 76.
So this says paper record.
Hmm?
I'm reading, it says that the paper record uploaded only accounts for 66 hours.
So so the people that were doing supervision prior to Certamy, they had paper documentation of record of supervision. They had to upload that paper into Certamy instead of putting each of the hours they already did in.
So on 9/12/22, y'all was doing paper.
No.
I'm sorry.
Not at 22.
So I think she's trying to prove that they did supervision, and so she's showing us their paper documentation. I think that's what Sarah was referring to.
Yeah, she started in August of 21. When did we go into Certamy?
So we accepted paper forms through December 31st of 21.
Okay.
Like we started in the middle of 21, but to kind of give people a transition period, we said we would take the paper till the
December
end of that
22.
year.
Okay.
So these records go back before 21. They started 8/1/21, but on a letter, it says she started in 9. Am I misreading that? It says that she started supervision
9/12/22.
From 9/12/22.
Mhm.
I'm writing to request that the approved board approve my supervision from 9/12/23 to 9/2/3/2024. So, but the paper starts in 21.
I think
So
that's
she's,
how they started documenting, and they probably just carried that on to have proof.
yeah, she did 28 hours.
In
from-
2020 through 2021, so
Mhm.
that's what the paper reflects.
So there was a second, she switched jobs.
Mhm. Supervision shall go in 1/2021 to nine.
Looked like she stopped working August 2021 at the first job.
Who was her supervisor?
Annie,
And Backrack. Barak. If you go to the record of supervision contract.
Yeah.
And it says 66 hours, 6/6/2024 at the top.
But
God bless you.
God bless you, yeah.
I'm looking at the 2/5/20 through
I'm on page 80.
2021.
Where you at?
looking at the what, I'm sorry?
2/5/20 through 2021.
What page are you on?
Yeah, 77 says that she had a supervisor from 2/5/20 to 8/14/2021.
Yeah,
It was the same
Orange Sands,
supervisor.
yeah. I see what
It
you.
was the same supervisor, just a different employer. There was no issue with the February, those hours. So that's 28 hours of supervision that there weren't any issues with.
Oh, so that's the one she did, the one with Torrance Sanders. There are no issues with those.
Correct.
It's just the ones that started after that.
That's what
She
aims.
switched jobs.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's when she was at LCMC Children's Hospital Thrive Kids. That's contract, it looks like contract 2,
On
number
80.
3. If you're at the bottom. That's where you are. I see where you're at.
Is there any
I'm gonna make
questions?
it approve.
Okay.
Yeah, I second.
Motion to approve by Bora and seconded by Trinity. Any public comments? No public comments. Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have a request for supervision by Heather Rogers, LMSW. This page 88. I'll take a few minutes to review.
So this is the one where she worked same agency, but got promoted, so she changed jobs, changed roles. And didn't do a new contract because she didn't know she had to do a new contract. Is this, am I
I'm not
reading
sure
this
you
right?
have to do it. You have to do a new contract.
Does the rules state that you have to do a new contract, complete a new contract? Because if it's not in the rules,
That, when I read this, I thought, probably a lot of people, including myself,
Yeah.
that didn't realize if you get a promotion
You have to-
or change your role
you're right.
within the same agency,
With the same
the
supervisor.
same supervisor, you gotta do
Complete a new
a new
contract.
contract.
I still don't know that.
So it sounds like a motion to approve.
Yeah, because,
Well, we may
Well, I
not need
still
a
want
point
that, yeah, we
break,
may,
yeah,
might not be
so I'm gonna look at
relevant.
the.
yeah, because if, listen, I didn't even know that.
I'm looking at the standards, minimum supervision requirement. A new supervision contract shall be submitted by the supervisee within 60 days of the change, when a supervisee changes employment, changes supervisor, and or there's a change in the agency supervisor. If there's a change in employment, the supervisee must also submit a new employment verification.
Does it say anything about roles?
Well, the agency supervisor did change,
Oh.
but I just, y'all, that one,
I didn't know.
that creeps up on me because there've been tons of times where supervisors, the administration changes supervisors for different sections or units or whatever due to organizational reasons. And so every time that happens,
Yes, you have to.
you have to do a new contract,
Right.
apparently. I did not know that. And I'm sure this happens all the time.
Yeah, so many, many social workers at various agency through state agencies.
Well, any agency.
Yeah, well,
it's
I'm just saying, I'm just calling out state agencies, they're gonna, with social workers, you guys, if you're listening.
Chapter 5. But in a review of chapter 503C, we see why we have the request, because there was a change in agency supervisor. Is there any further discussion or any motions?
I got a motion on the floor and I'm
Oh,
trying to
sorry.
figure out, who told her who told her that she couldn't take the test?
I think she took the
already
test.
took it.
She passed it already.
So, yeah, I mean, so when she tried to get a license, she was told she couldn't get a license? I mean, you know, like
What may have happened is when she did the application and put a different job title.
Supervisor.
Yeah, when she did the application to take the test or the application, well, yeah, it would be the same
because
application.
usually it says that Sarah or somebody, Regina, somebody told them that they, wait a minute, is that where I was advised by Sarah Banks? Is that 88, page 88? Or is that a different
Let me
page?
see.
Yes,
Well, either way.
just the
it's-
time
yeah,
loss, but it
yeah,
is an
yeah,
appropriate
it's an
request.
appropriate
Yes.
request.
So
Yeah,
Melissa
that's
has a motion on the floor.
She was about to make a.
She made it.
Yeah,
You
okay,
did,
motion to
second.
approve.
I second it.
Oh, well, Boris.
Everybody,
seconded it.
okay, so motion by Melissa, seconded by Bora. Any public comments?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry?
Jennifer Hand.
Okay, yes.
Thank you for taking my comment. I agree with the board that it does seem like perhaps this rule is too stringent. And I would suggest a review of that rule and reconsideration if it's not law.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Mr. Rogers,
Heather Rogers.
you're recognized.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I saw that there was some confusion about my letter, and so I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit. So my agency supervisor did change, but really, the chief operating officer, she was my supervisor in the beginning because she was the director of the clinic. Then she became the chief operating officer. So then someone else, Deanne, became my supervisor. But then I became a project director. So then I was put back under Trudy, but we all work very, very closely together. So I have had basically a lot of the same duties, the same agency and the same backs. So I just wanted to clear that up. And I have, since I've submitted this request, I have completed the rest of my supervision. So based on your decision today, hopefully I'll be getting a license within the next couple of months. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, any objections or abstentions? Okay, so the motion to approve carries. Next, we have agenda item 4O from Charity Santa Cruz Davis, LMSW request for supervision. This is page 92. So this one is the time frame.
So I'm reading this as they were a couple hours short. Just miscalculating.
No, I think it's the time frame because it's supposed to be done within 4 years. And this is, they terminated supervision after it looked like 5 years and 2-3 months. And they still need the 2 hours. So it's to accept hours greater than 4 years ago.
Unusual, unexpected life circumstances, stressful and unstable.
That's all she says, that we go into greater detail.
What page is that?
That's page 92 and
92 and
93.
93.
She doesn't provide any further detail except that. She's almost there.
And the alternative is that she loses all her hours.
It wouldn't be all of them. It would just be what's
That
within that
last year.
4-hour window. Like, so it depends on how many she got since, 4 years ago now.
I think she loses.
And she would never be able to finish if that was the case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm more,
So I'm okay
I'm
with
okay
this,
with
y'all, because
giving her,
like if it's 10 years,
yeah,
20 years, 15 years, those are the ones I wanna
Okay.
yeah.
get more explanation,
Yeah.
but
She's
know,
almost there.
I'm just, this started before COVID and I can just see reasons for delays, even though she didn't spell it all out in detail.
But we're gonna be setting a precedent, but I'm more inclined to approve it, but I just want you guys to know. We're gonna be starting a precedent.
My question is, I guess what I'm trying to say, because she's not finished with her hours. And she's saying 2 to 3 weeks that could happen. So what I'm trying to is say, is it possible to approve the hours that she has and period, and then give a time frame to complete it?
Yes.
Because therefore, she doesn't, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the hours, contingent upon her completing all of her hours by September 30th.
So can I?
Friendly amendment?
Right.
Whatever.
Want to make a friendly amendment or?
Yes, may I make a friendly?
Sure.
Can we say till December or even October? Because this is, she works for schools.
I'll say
and
October.
school,
Yeah,
doesn't go back till next week or longer later for some school systems, so just.
I'm perfect with that. I just don't want her to have to come back. That's all, that's
I would say through
Okay,
October
not
of
to December.
2024.
I accept that.
31st.
Yeah.
31st.
October, yeah.
Okay, so the motion on the floor by Melissa is to approve the hours that completed starting February 15, 2019, and to
October 31st.
Conditioned upon.
Yeah,
condition upon completion of all supervision hours by October 31st,
Yeah.
2024. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Bora. Any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have agenda item P, so this is gonna be somewhere else.
this is gonna be yeah.
So there is another scan, correspondence, Lori Jack.
No,
That's not in 2, is it? Which correspondence number? Because
It doesn't have a number, it just says correspondence and it has a name.
Okay.
yeah,
Lori.
we just have to
Towards the
find it.
bottom,
There it is.
it's separate.
Let's go. It's gonna be 2 pages.
And so this is also a request for supervision hours.
I have a question. Emily, did we have any documentation? Did the licensee provide any screenshots, any documents, any proof from Certamy that it
What we
was?
have is what's been scanned.
Okay,
So there's no other complaint?
Yeah, so they just say there was a
But are you
Certamy.
aware of any instances where, because so this person is noting that there were malfunctions.
Right,
Where information was deleted.
right, but there's.
And I'm asking if Emily is aware of any of that being an issue, one of the many issues we've had with Certamy, but was that one of the issues we had?
No evidence.
So I didn't check this. The staff that reviews it checks it and they put that in the summary. So I cannot.
Okay, no, I mean, not with this person, just in general, because I've never, since I've been on the board, I don't recall hearing issues with information, contracts being deleted.
See, because what I,
Hold on, I just want to get an answer. Am I misremembering?
We can't delete it, but we did have a situation that someone asked Certamy to remove it and they removed it.
Okay.
But I don't remember, I can't expound on that.
That's fine,
that
but
situation.
you're not aware of any situations where Certamy randomly deleted contracts, okay.
my concern is, and I'm not stating that this didn't occur.
Wait, hold on, is it something related to this?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm not stating this incident did not occur. What I'm stating is, and I'm not stating that I do or I don't believe what this licensee stated.
What are you thinking?
What I'm stating is that anyone can state that there's an issue with Certamy, and then we have to take it at that. And so I can say, hey, there's a Certamy issue, and then we have to grant the request, but we don't have any evidence. No screenshots, no anything, so we just don't have anything to go on, and then we are granting a request because there was a Certamy issue, but we have no documentary evidence
So you
of it.
you
So
wanna make a
that's,
motion?
I don't know if I should deny it or approve it because I have no evidence.
Well, you can deny
And then we're, and
offer a
yeah, and offer a
compliance
compliance hearing.
Right, so that they could, the
They
supervisor
submit that
could
evidence.
also,
Because
because there's
I would
no
also like to
statement.
note that the supervision began December 2022, but the record of supervision was initiated in September 2022. But I guess they started the process in Certamy, but they didn't actually finish. Okay. So you making a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to deny and offer compliance hearing.
Okay. Motion to deny on the floor and offer a compliance hearing.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any public comments? Okay. Jennifer Hannon.
Morning. You all can hear me now? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. For the record, I'd like to say that for 2 years in a row, Certamy deleted over 80 hours of continuing education for me, both years. So I do know that Certamy deleted things without my request. So I can only imagine that it happened for other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay. Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. I want to say something related to the comment we just got to make sure the public was aware of what we're discussing. So when Certamy had workflow changes, if there was a change in a workflow, anything that was put into Certamy was deleted. So when people put continuing education hours in, those would be deleted when they went back later to renew after the workflow changes. We are aware that that was an issue with Certamy. We are not aware of Certamy deleting contracts put into Certamy. Just wanted to be clear about that. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to agenda item 4Q, Sandra DeHart. DeHart? So that's gonna be a separate scan.
I don't see an executive.
The executive, and we're taking it out. Mhm.
Okay. Right,
Mhm.
what page is it, Janet?
I know, I'm looking for it.
I thought you said.
The second one. The bottom.
Which where's the flag?
What's her name?
Sandra
DeHart?
DeHart,
Should be the second.
looking.
Okay, so she's page 38 in executive.
The top says justification for request for supervision.
Yes, okay, yep. I didn't see her name.
Oh, it's at the very bottom.
It's at the very bottom, that's why I didn't see her name.
It's a one pager.
That's why, okay.
Saying distance. Supervisor's name is not, I don't see the name. They're saying supervisor going on that attorney leave this fall.
What's the name? I don't know that. Still reviewing?
Name of supervisor and supervisee.
I don't think we're required. Let me go review. No, there was a question before of making sure that the supervisor was aware and also agreed that it was. So we were getting vote to submit something. But I think the rule states it has to come from the supervisee, right?
I make a motion to deny and offer a compliance hearing.
Okay. Motion to deny on the floor,
I seconded.
seconded by Trinity. Do we have any public comments? Any objections or abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have agenda item 4R, Piper Dixon. If that was scanned in separately too?
Mhm.
Or
It's at the bottom somewhere.
Second,
Mhm.
okay,
it's, correspondence, it's got our names on it.
Third to the left.
well, I don't have that one, but I don't need it though.
I didn't at
Hold
all.
on a second. Oh, because here.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted a specialized supervisor that specialized in substance use disorders.
We're still reviewing for R, Piper Dixon request.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve on the floor by Trinity.
A second.
And seconded by Bora. Any public comments? Okay. Jennifer Hannon, you're recognized.
Yes, good morning again. I was muted before you were hearing my response to what you were saying on the,
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. We don't, this is a public comment period for the agenda for correspondence or related to Piper Dixon.
okay, well then please allow me to finish when I'm speaking instead of muting me before I'm finished speaking on the public comment that I was trying to finish commenting on before.
I'm going to take this as you don't have anything to say related to Piper Dixon.
That is absolutely accurate.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Okay, thank you. Any objections or abstentions? Motion carried. Okay, so we are finished with correspondence. We have compliance hearings that start at 10:30. We have other correspondence to review in executive session, as well as the impaired professional program and disciplinary monitoring and complaints and applications. So we are concluding the portion of correspondence that's open to the public, and we will go into executive session until we're ready to come out for motions. So taking a look at the agenda, we have hearings from 10:30 to 1:30.
Madam Chair, do we have time to do some more correspondence between now and 10:30?
We don't have any more in the public.
In the executive session.
That's the executive session, so we'll have time when we go in the. Yeah, we're finished with the public. So, we have hearings 10:30, 11, 11:30. And then 1 and 1:30, and then we have IPP at, the 2 o'clock is moved to September. Then we have IPP at 3. I'm just trying to gauge what time to tell the public to come back. So I will say we stay in exec. That's not gonna take 30 minutes. I say you guys give me a few minutes to think this through. Okay,
I do just want to reiterate that I have to leave at 4.
yes, ma'am.
So is it possible to move IPP?
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you think? If not, it's,
To
to 2
hearing.
would be great.
Now. Or now, she could do it now at 10 o'clock. Once you go into executive session, she could be first.
Yeah. Or 10.
I agree with the motion to adjourn, to go into executive session. I'll be right back.
Okay, so we're checking on that. We'll go into executive session with plans to come back at 2:30. Do you guys feel we can, I'm confident.
I am too, but do we need to confirm with IPP?
Well, we can come back and do what we have to do in public and just go back out because if she can't do 3, then
Yeah.
we'll be just sitting here anyway.
2:30?
Yes. Everybody okay with 2:30?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go in executive session with plans to return to the public at 2:30 PM. And we will need a roll call vote. 10:02. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to wait for Melissa. So.
I mean, unless you want to wait and listen to a motion, but that's what we're waiting for.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's the roll call vote to go into executive session back at 2:30.
Yes.
Jamie Barney,
Yes.
Trinity George.
Yes.
Melissa Haley.
Yes.
Every weekend. Just if I don't see you
Yes.
again.
Okay, so at 10:03, we are going into executive session, and members of the public, we plan to return at 2:30. Thank you.
Thank you.